Okay, hello. Another day, another video, another stupid hat. It's Mr. Yatix back up in this bitch with another video. Okay, so the last video I posted, I asked if anybody had any questions about Wing Chun Kung Fu, which is a martial art that I've studied for about 12 years. Had some really good responses from some really cool people. Thank you very much indeed. It's lots of grist for the mill. The question I'm going to address today was posted by a commenter called, I don't know how you pronounce it, Hyvey, I suppose, H1VEY. Well, there you are. Thank you very much for posting it. His question was specifically about why don't Wing Chun schools spar as a general rule? Now, if you're watching this video and you train at a Wing Chun school that does spar, then that's really cool. I'm not talking about you guys. As I say in all my videos, I'm not speaking for the whole of Wing Chun. I'm speaking about my experiences and my understanding of the art, and you may not agree, which is of course perfectly fine. But I'm here to answer these questions as best as I can see fit, to try and increase a little bit of the understanding about Wing Chun out there on Tinternet. It seems to get a bit of a bad rap by a lot of people who simply don't really understand what it is, and rather than go around and try and respond to every single troll post I see, I thought it'd be much more proactive to actually post videos up on my YouTube channel explaining a little bit about why and how Wing Chun works. Okay, so today we're going to talk a little bit about why doesn't Wing Chun spar. Okay, now before we get started, let's define what we mean by sparring and what I think that Hyvey thinks what he means by sparring when he asks the question. Now, sparring to me is getting padded up with an opponent, going at it, trading blows, blocking, kicking, punching, all this sort of thing. You're all head geared up. You've got all your safety equipment. You've got people around you to make sure that you're safe, things like that. That's what I call sparring. You may disagree. That's the basis that I'm going on. Okay. So before we get on to why Wing Chun doesn't spar, let's think about why other martial arts and mixed martial arts do spar. Okay. Now they're sparring to provide a closest analogy as they can to the situation that they're going to be using their skills in. To wit, they're going to be stood in a cage or a ring, trading blows, blocking, doing their takedowns, trying to submit each other and stuff. And as close an approximation of a real fight in their context that you can get. Now, in their context, a fight is a sporting event. It's a sporting competition between two people, matching their skills against each other. There is a winner and there is a loser, and if all goes well, nobody gets seriously hurt. This is fantastic. Okay, so this is where the separation splits off. Okay, now you think about a kickboxer, karate guy, taekwondo, MMA fighter. Okay, they're training to go and largely compete. Okay, they're going to compete in a set environment with set rules to get a set outcome. Okay, now if you split away from that and you go to the other side, okay, which is where Wing Chun lives, things like Krav Maga and things like that live. Your actual self-defense, street application, really get yourself out of the shit kind of problems, which don't have a set structure or a set environment in which you can replicate accurately these kind of situations you're going to be using it in, and it all gets a little bit more fuzzy. Now, obviously, in Wing Chun we have drills. We drill certain attacks and defences very hard, in much the same way as I guess boxers do, 1-2 jab, cross, etc., etc. And we also do we do what we call free flow, which is obviously random attacks coming in, but we don't pad up for this. We just go with as much control as we can, and we try not to hurt each other. But the important thing is that we're coming at full speed with full intention, and we have to block and counter with as much intention as we can as well. Obviously, we're pulling our punches. That goes without saying, because we don't want to hurt each other. And a lot of the time in Wing Chun, you're striking for really vulnerable and delicate parts. For example, through the side of the knee with a kick, breaking through joints, striking to the eyes, to the throat, the windpipe, the groin, etc. And it's not really the sort of thing that you really want to be doing at full force, padded or otherwise. Okay, so if you think about the two concepts of a fight, okay, you have a fight in a competition where the cage door locks, two guys go at it, they have a fight. Okay, this is still a fight. It's a competition, but it's a fight. Okay. You take that away from that and you go to the other side of the definition of a fight, which is on the street. Now, on the street, a fight tends to begin with an attacker or an aggressor and somebody who is usually the victim. Okay. Now, the Wing Chun, the TMI guy, the self-defense guy, he starts off in the position of the victim, and it's his job to turn that around on the attacker and come away victorious, or to get the hell out of there, whichever works. So what you've got there is a completely different dynamic. It's not a tit for tat, it's not a trading, it's not a block, trade, strike, counter, repeat. What you've got is somebody aggressively coming towards you, trying to attack you, and you've got to finish them brutally and as quickly as possible. Okay. Now that doesn't stand for any tit for tat. It doesn't stand for any toe-to-toe banging away at things like that. You cannot stand there and let that happen because even the best boxers in the world get knocked out. Okay, so people saying sparring it trains your chin. You know, it trains you to take a punch and get damage and things like that. You know, I don't really want to practice getting hit. I don't really want to get a good chin. I don't want to get my nose broken just so that when I get my nose broken on the street, I know what it feels like. Okay? I can't be doing any of that sort of thing. I've got a job and I've got a family and I've got just too goddamn beautiful apart from everything else. So that's kind of redundant. It's a little bit like a lot of traditional kung fu schools that practice sort of body conditioning and they'll hit their forearms with sticks and stuff. And that's all well and good, but really, it's 2012. You live in the city, you know what I mean? If somebody hits you, your adrenaline's going to be kicking in. You're not going to feel it till the next day anyway, you know, unless you're completely incapacitated. So I don't really buy into any of that kind of thing. There's lots of ways to get yourself in an adrenaline-fueled, pumped-up haze and to do Wing Chun and to do it with efficiency and speed and control without having to get padded up and get leathered. The other side of things, of course, is cardio. You know, if you're an MMA fighter or a boxer, you've got to work rounds. You've got to work 5, 10, 15 rounds to work your cardio and make sure that you've got enough gas in the tank to go the full distance. That's not applicable in the street. You know, you're either going to get knocked out or you're going to knock them out. You know, and you've got to apply as much force as brutally and as quickly as possible. You don't need cardio unless you're doing the running away bit, in which case your adrenaline will help you out with that. So that's kind of redundant as well. So to go back to my original point, Wing Chun doesn't spar because sparring has no analogy for Wing Chun's true use. Okay? Simple as that. There is no sparring you could do in the context of getting padded up and training tit for tat that would have any relation to how Wing Chun is supposed to be applied in real life. I hope that makes sense, and it doesn't seem like I'm copying out here at all. And it's hard for me to sort of describe to you exactly how we personally train, but people see Chi Sao and they see people playing patty cake and think it's all very gentle and stuff like that. But the way we train Wing Chun is it's savage, it's brutal, it's ugly, it's messy, it's bloody awful. You know, if you use it in the street, you probably wouldn't even recognise it as Wing Chun. What you'd see is one guy responding to an incoming attack and devastating the other guy to a point where he can no longer come back and move at you. And it sounds all very macho and very gung-ho and, oh yeah, I'm the internet tough guy and stuff like that. But that's how we train it, that's how we use it. You know, and I'm not here to prove any points to anybody at all. I'm not here to be the hardest guy on the internet by any stretch of the imagination. And I certainly wouldn't like to go toe-to-toe with any kind of MMA fighter, or anybody else really. I'm a lover, not a fighter. But sparring, yeah, it suits a lot of people, it suits a lot of art. It doesn't suit Wing Chun, it's useless to us. It's useless to us, okay? So that's why Wing Chun doesn't spar. And as I say, if your school spars, good on you. Post in the comments what you get out of sparring and how you spar, and we'll have a conversation about it, and that's really good. So that's it, that's question 1 answered. Please keep posting your questions about Wing Chun either on this video or on the previous one. I'll do my best to answer. And one final thing, if you don't understand what I'm talking about, just don't comment. You know, I don't mind people disagreeing with me or calling me any name under the sun. I'm not even that bothered. But if you don't actually understand what I'm saying, just don't type anything in the little box. I've had so many people responding to previous videos and just not getting it, and you just face palm and just go, Christ, I feel sorry for you. You know what I mean? Don't they have schools where you come from? You know. Anyway, that's it for me today. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.